Well, welcome to this week's episode at GJ's Guitar Studios. Oh my god, the amp I have been looking for forever. This amp is absolutely fantastic. I took delivery of it just over a week ago now. I've used it on a couple of gigs. You've probably seen that on my Instagram footage. It's awesome. So let's talk about it. Amplified Nation are a company over in the States. They make boutique high-end amplifiers. It's been around some years now, developing and making these amps. I've wanted one for absolutely ages. I saw a demo online with someone playing one. I just happened to stumble on it, and I could tell by the quality of what I heard on the tape. I thought, oh, this is really what I want. And I've been in search for an amp, for something that I've been looking for some time now, and I've finally found it, thank goodness. So let's talk about it. So these amps are pretty cool in as much as the first thing, you can really customize the amplifier in terms of its looks. You can change the grill cloth, you can change the material that you have it in. It does a wide range of colors, which you can actually personalize if you order it online. So that's a really cool feature. The thing that has amazed me the most about this amp when I got it is the build quality. It's solid as a rock, and it's just so well made. You can kind of tell that before you even turn it on. So the thinking is that this guy Taylor over in the States got some dumbbells, and he's been working with amplifiers and building them for years. He started off making speaker cabinets, and he developed into making amplifiers. And with the dumbbell thing is they were kind of pimped up Fender amplifiers that they personalised to the players, so depending on how you wanted it. So he's kind of taken those themes within the guitars and the amplifiers to create the sound, and he's ended up with these fantastic amps. He's done a small range of these amps. You can get different models doing different things. So what I've been in search for is a super clean amplifier. I didn't want a gain stage on it. I just want a clean amplifier which I could then use a pedal platform if I wanted to go into it, or I could just play it clean. So that's what I've achieved. Now with this amp, which is a really good feature, obviously it's got an effects loop in it, so some amps don't always have that effects loop in it, so that's really handy if you are using delays and modulation, which I do in my country band. So I could kind of get that in the right position in the chain of the amp. So I'll just talk you through the controls. So you've got a volume knob at the beginning, and then just to mention it over here, you've got a level, which is like your master volume. Okay, so you've got an amount of level in the amp, and then obviously you've got a channel gain. Then you've got these three funky switches where you've got rock, deep and bright. They're just different voicings. You've got a treble control, middle control, bass control. You've got this FET or filter control, which I'll talk about in a minute. And then you've got a send and return for the reverb. So basically the send is the amount of the effect, okay, so how much reverb you want, and this is the level of it. So obviously if you want more or less of the reverb in your sound. And then you've got presence on the end, which is just like another brightening situation. I went for the 1x12 cab. He does do a 2x12. That he only makes 12 cabs, so he does basically a 2x12 or a 1x12, and he does do different speakers. I went for a sort of cream speaker, which is like a Fendery kind of sound, 75 watts. So you've got a 50 watt amp, 75 watt speaker. I had in mind, which I haven't actually used, believe it or not. I thought I would really want it, but I've actually got a power switch in mind, so you can bust it down to half. So if you want, you can put it down to 20 odd watts, which he does as an option as well. I sort of slightly regret getting that in the amp now. It wasn't a lot of extra money, but I felt I wanted it at the time. I intend to use this amp more for gigging than I do at home. Let's have a listen to the amp. Okay, so that's basically on a clean setting. Now, the thing that I find slightly frustrating, which you can get used to it. But you can see on the top here, I've got the foot switch plugged in, and you can see the lights on. Now this light, when you turn it on and off, this switch, what that does for you is it turns the filter on and off. So when the light's on, the filter is off, which is a bit weird because obviously usually when the light's on, it means it's on, but it actually means it's off on this particular amp. So at the moment, we're just in the clean amp, no filter on. So now I'll try it with I'll turn the filter off. So I'll turn the filter on, sorry. See, I'm getting confused myself. Okay, so that's with the filter in. And what that does is you can kind of dial in what you want in the cab. It's quite a good thing. You can also hear that it slightly lifts the dB in the amplifier. So if you wanted to push into a solo, you can really control the tone of the thing from the guitar and the amp, which is kind of what I was looking for. It's just a bit annoying about the light. So basically, light off means it's on. Then when you turn it on, the light, it means it's turned it off. So the other feature this amp has is it's got a boost. So let's try that. So we'll try the boost in the clean. Okay, and now I'll turn it off and I'll put the filter on and put the boost on the filter. And basically at that point it'll break the amp up. Let me just talk about these controls here. Now the way I've got it set, I've always been big on trying to level amplifiers, so when you hit pedals it doesn't take it stratosphere in terms of volume. You want to always stage your volume. I've found the best way to operate it is if you do want to engage the boost, which you might do live, which I would do, the rock setting is best, because if I drop this down, it drops to the jazz mode. It will basically make the amplifier a lot quieter. And I'll put it with the filter in. So then if I put the rock back in, you can hear the amplifier lifts up in level. The easiest way to describe it, it's like a fat switch in a Fender amp, if you remember Blues Junior, stuff like that, that's what that's got. And then you've got a bright switch, which I find just puts the sizzle in the treble, so if you take that out, put it in. Sounds much better with it in. So I tend to have the volume on about 3 when I'm gigging. This is kind of how I set it to gigs. So I usually use it on about 3 and 3, and it's on 50 watts. So now what I'll do is I'll just attenuate it down. So standby on and just bust it down. So now it's running on 20 watt. So that's without, now I'll do the same thing with the filter on. Filter back, let's do filter on with boost. Now we'll do filter off with boost. So you can tell it's just absolutely fantastic. If you're quite a clean player or you want to use pedal, it does both options amazing. The reverb on this is really good. I like quite a spongy reverb. But you can hear, if I now do it, I'll put a load of reverb in it. It's really hauly. I tend to have it. I did experiment with winding the return all the way up. Still a bit too much for me. I quite like it kind of here for me. So you sort of hear the dwell of it in the back. Okay, so there is a ton of positives about this amplifier. For me personally, there is a lot more positives than there are negatives. You want to be sure you want to kind of go down this route. The negative, I would say, is, and this particular model, and he does do ones with drive and stuff like that, there's no drive channel. So you've got to be a really clean player, or you've got to want to put a pedal into it to make it drive. You know, it's an abundance of clean. So it will just be clean, 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 clean. Breaking it up, you've really got to lay into the strings to get it to break up. And at that point, it's going to be very, very loud. So on stage, if you're playing in a band, you know, and you're playing in pubs, these days, it's got to be a lot quieter. So, you know, you might struggle if you're doing big stadium gigs, or, you know, you're doing big gigs. It's good for that. But there again, these days, sound guys like a lot of miking. Obviously, backline's not really a thing anymore, so they want to mic it and put it in the PA. So, you know, that's the limits to it. You've got to really know how to control it or play into it well to get the sound you want to get out at the volume that you can play at. What a fantastic amplifier. So if you want a super clean amplifier, he's great. Slight downside, they don't sell them in the UK. So if you do want one, you've got to order it from the States. I did so. It was absolutely painless and effortless. Taylor's a really nice guy. He's more than happy to have a Zoom chat, which is what I did when I ordered it. I had a chat with him about it. There is obviously a bit of import duty and stuff you've got to pay coming in. It wasn't the end of the world kind of money. He's very helpful and all that. He sends it UPS, so you can track the thing in the air, which is I did. So I knew it was going to be arriving. It arrived exactly when it said it was going to arrive on the ticket, so that was really good. What a fantastic amp. They are a few press-a-roonies. They're not cheap amplifiers. But if you want a kind of really good clean amp that ticks a lot of boxes and sounds absolutely fantastic, this is the amp. One thing I would mention is I at first wasn't going to get the cab, and then I decided to get the cab just because the head sort of size, he's designed it to fit on this cab. The reason for that is because this cab is actually quite big in size. And he's done that to kind of make the speaker do the best it's going to do in the size of the cab, which does make a big difference. So I tried this with an old vintage cab that I had, and I tried it with my Tone King cab, and then when I decided to get this, just to sort of, you know, see if that scratch needed itching, it did prove it was well worth it financially. So I'd probably say if you were going to get one, I'd probably say get it with a cab, unless you've got a kind of cab that you really like, but it's worth getting both things. So there you go. What a great amp. If you follow me on Instagram and stuff, you'll see me gigging it and using it all the time. So I'm very happy with it. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll hope to catch you real soon. Take care.